Let me ask you about the Russian hacks. Right now there's a big debate about whether or not the Russians were motivated by a desire to tip the election to Donald Trump. What do you think was the motive for the Russians based on the evidence you've seen?
I think this is a serious issue, and I think it requires and calls for the study and the review that the President has directed that all of us who are in the intelligence community or affiliated with it undertake. And so I think it requires that kind of serious review of all the information that we gather before we can come to conclusions that can be discussed about motivation and intent. We began that process obviously over the summer. As you know, in October, the intelligence community came out with the assessment and the attribution that Russia was behind the hacks. And as you know, we rarely do attributions.
Right.
But it is an important issue, and it is an issue that people are concerned about and do need to have information about. Our goal is to provide them with the information that's thoroughly investigated, fully vetted, and that we can provide in an open setting.
I have to ask you about this op-ed in the Washington Post by the Clinton campaign manager, John Podesta. He said he's, quote, surprised to read in the New York Times that when the FBI discovered the Russian attack in September 2015, it failed to send even a single agent to warn senior DNC officials. Instead, messages were left with the DNC IT help desk. Is that accurate? Is that an accurate description of the outreach that the FBI did to the DNC? And if so, is that sufficient?
So as we've talked about earlier this year, the investigation into the hacks of the DNC and the DCCC is an ongoing investigation. It's an active investigation. So I'm not able to comment on the specifics of how people were contacted. But I can say that the FBI has worked closely with those organizations, both to discuss what we've learned about the hacks, to gather information about them, so that we can continue this investigation.
Whether or not you can get into specifics, is it true that there was this level of calling the DNC that doesn't sound particularly competent or doesn't sound like it had the urgency that one would think? Is that basic description that Podesta makes, is it accurate?
Well, what I can tell you is that this investigation was taken seriously from the beginning. This is an incredibly serious issue. I can't comment on Mr. Podesta's sources or where he gets his information or why he has that view, but what I can say is that he's not involved in the ongoing investigation, so he wouldn't be privy to everything that would have been done or said to that. But as I said, you know, he's entitled to his opinion. But
But he's not entitled to his facts, and that's what I'm wondering about, is if his facts are accurate, because he says he finds it, quote, downright infuriating at, quote, nearly the exact same time that no one at the FBI could be bothered to drive 10 minutes to the DNC, two agents accompanied by attorneys from the Justice Department were in Denver visiting a tech firm that had helped maintain Hillary Clinton's email server. He is suggesting without question that Hillary Clinton's email server got more attention from the Justice Department and the FBI than this hack investigation by Russia, which I think it's fair to say seems fairly serious.
Well, that's an ongoing investigation, so I would say it's been taken very seriously.